Girl stuff is how we like to communicate our thoughts and feeling, stories that can make you relate. And we talk to some cool people we met on the way. So thanks for tuning in. We hope that you like your stay.
Hi, I'm Hannah,
Hi, I'm Romy.
and welcome to another episode of the GIRLSTUFF podcast. So today we have our lovely, lovely friend Romy here with us. But Romy, instead of me introducing you, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself and all that you do?
Sure. I'm Romy Shraiter. I'm an actor, among many other things. I'm so excited to be here talking to you today. It's been a long time coming. A little bit about me. I live in Toronto, or I newly live in Toronto. I just spent the last 3
Alright.
years in Montreal, but I grew up
Okay.
here, so I'm happy to be back. And I love to cook and read, and yeah.
Yeah. So what's your favorite thing that you've cooked this year or the last 18 months that we've been
Oh
inside all
man.
the time?
I've been baking pretzels with my friend Haley over FaceTime throughout the pandemic.
Okay.
He used to be a
So cool.
competitive baker. Yeah, it's great. So he's been teaching me. Yeah,
So you got to,
that's
twirl and do the lovely, weird thing with the pretzels that they do all the time.
yeah. And his are always like really, really beautiful, and then mine look like little blobs, but they taste great. So that's what
That's all
counts
that
at the end of the
matters.
day.
Exactly. That's all that matters. Awesome. So, what is other than cooking and moving, what is one thing that you did during the quarantine season that you otherwise wouldn't have had the time to do?
Hmm. Well, I was in school during the pandemic. I was in my last year of theater school, and it was a
Okay.
tiny, tiny program. So we were able to go in and do classes and rehearsals in person all year.
Okay. Nice.
So I feel like compared to everyone else, I had a very normal year, even though we were
Fair.
all socially distanced and wearing masks. But something that I did, I watched a lot of TV, like a lot of
Okay.
TV,
Okay.
which is not something that I've really done before. I mean, I've obviously watched some TV, but I've never in the
Binged.
capacity that I did this
Yeah.
year.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
what'd you watch?
Well, I love Gilmore Girls very, very
Yes.
much. I've seen that
Me,
show
I
too
actually
many
I
times.
just finished rewatching it, so for
Yes,
the third time this year.
you're making me feel a lot better about
Okay.
myself because same, yeah, I've watched it a lot of times. So I watched
It's a
that
good show.
again.
Yeah.
Mhm. I also watched New Girl this year. So good.
Okay.
And
Okay.
Breaking Bad. I'd never seen that one before, and a friend of
Oh,
mine
nice.
watched it with me, but I kept falling asleep while we were watching the show. And then he'd already seen it, so he was like, "Okay, well, yeah, we can go back and watch the episode again, but what is your problem? Just stay awake. It's
You
not boring. It's very interesting."
Well, I don't blame. I just say, you know what, you're the one making me watch something at night. It's got to be early in the day for me to pay
That's
attention.
true.
Otherwise, it's time to sleep.
Exactly. And it's like great to fall asleep to like Bryan Cranston's beautiful voice, just like doing crazy shit on the TV. It's really a treat.
Oh man, I love that.
It's the
So
best
just going back,
lullaby.
yeah, exactly. So going back to Gilmore Girls, what team are you on? Because I feel like that's gonna define, the rest of
Oh
this
God.
interview.
Which team for who?
For
Like
Rory,
for
like
Roy.
the
Oh.
boys, yeah. Which
Okay, okay,
ones like?
okay. Um, I will say Rory is kind of my least favorite character on the show, but
Oh,
I am Team Jess,
you are
and
Team Jess.
I'm Team
Okay.
Jess. Yeah, what about you?
I'm Team Logan, but that's just because I just love Matt. So I'm
It's
like, it's
true.
I think when
Logan
I
is
go
a
back
good
and
one too.
rewatch,
Uh,
yeah, I always rewatch like season 5. I'm like, I'll
Mm.
just watch from here.
For me, it's honestly anyone except for Dean. I don't like Dean.
Exactly. Yeah, I know. I love
Yeah,
Jared. Like Jared's fantastic, but Dean's character is a little problematic for me. I'm
it's
not gonna lie.
true. It's true. Yeah. But what about
Yeah.
Lorelai though?
Oh, definitely Luke. I love her and Luke.
Okay.
Like I
I
love
do love
them.
Luke, but Max Medina, a
That's true.
gemstone.
Yes. Yes,
That
honestly.
voicemail
The
that he
guys of this
leaves,
show are actually really good. So,
it's great. Yeah. He's so
oh, I
sweet.
love that.
This is
So,
great. Like right out of the gate, we're talking about Gilmore Girls. I couldn't be
Gilmore Girls,
happier.
exactly. Exactly. And then we're gonna talk about coffee, and then I think, it's gonna be a great sandwich of conversations.
Absolutely. I think I will blame a little bit of my coffee addiction on Gilmore Girls because I remember when I was a kid, Gilmore Girls would be on the like playing when I got home from
Yeah.
school. And so I'd like secretly watch it while my parents were elsewhere doing their own thing. And I was like, when I'm an adult, I'm going to be so cool and drinking coffee all the time. And now I am drinking coffee all the time.
All
And
the time. Yeah.
I'm not going to say that it's connected, but it very well could
But it
be.
could be. But it could
Mhm.
be, exactly. Just, yeah, we'll just blame it on Lorelai. It's fine.
Mhm. And I do. It is
Yes,
entirely her
exactly.
fault.
Awesome. So, at the beginning, we kind of talked about how you are an actress, and that is what you do. You went to theater school, so definitely very well versed in the acting world. So, I wanted to ask, what kind of inspired you to begin acting in the first place?
That is a really good question, and I should probably have a better answer, but I don't know that there was one specific thing. There isn't a moment that I can point to.
Yeah.
Um, but it was kind of always something that I wanted to do, and
Hmm.
I was a really shy kid. So whenever we do in my primary school when we do school plays, I didn't get big roles because
Yeah.
I was very, very quiet. Um, but then as I got older, I got more sure of myself and more willing to take up space. And
Hmm.
I come from like a very creative, artistic family. Um,
Hmm.
there are a lot of artists in the family, so it was always something that I was around. And it just kind of happened. And here I
Nice.
am today.
And here you are today. Yeah. I always
Mhm.
find, it's kind of funny that all those shy people end up being actors and actresses, and you're just like, you don't really assume that that's gonna happen because
Yeah.
acting takes a lot of like kind of being out there and then like extroverted at times, right? But then
Mhm.
that's not always the case because you can bring in like previous feelings and emotions into characters and stuff, right? So
Yeah.
I love that. And I love that you're around creative. I find I'm a creative person, so I'm like always like I love being around creative. So definitely it's
Yeah.
really nice to hear. And now you're in Toronto, so that's as creative as it can possibly get in Ontario.
Yeah. It's true.
Yeah. So what
Yeah.
would you say is your favorite thing about acting?
Oh,
It's a loaded question,
it
but I
really
love
is.
asking it.
I think the first thing that comes to mind is every once in a while you get your hands on like a really, really good script.
Mhm.
I can think of a few moments in my life where I've read a play like a script for a film or a TV
Mhm.
series, and I've been like,
Mhm.
I have to be a part of this. I don't know what it is about it, but it is my one true mission in life to somehow be a part of bringing this to
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always such a special moment.
I love that. I love that. Yeah, and I mean, like, I'm not an actress by any means. I like laugh every time I try to do those like point of view TikToks. I'm like, I can't do it. I can't be like serious. But I love talking to people who act because you really get to just see them versus the characters that they play, or like them
Mhm.
versus the persona that gets put on them. And it's just like, it's very, very cool because I'm like, you guys are so cool. I love it. I wish I was as talented as that, but I just take pictures, which is pretty talented.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, do you have any secrets as to how you kind of get into any of the roles, or like the mindset of the characters that you play? Is there anything that you kind of learned that you just picked up, or anything like that?
Um, my favorite trick is when I'm learning my lines, I kind of do a mindless activity while that's happening. So
Okay.
I'll like roll up some socks and like toss them at the wall as I'm learning my lines, so it
Okay.
becomes kind of mindless as I'm internalizing it. Or washing dishes is great, folding
Okay.
laundry, um, and so that I can just be like super present because I haven't been over analyzing everything that I'm saying as I'm learning
Yes.
it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then
Yeah. Yeah.
when I'm in the moment, I can just see what I'm feeling in that moment, because I think
Mhm.
a lot of the time when I was starting out, I would make all of these plans of what a scene would feel like, and what I would say and how
Yeah.
my partner would respond, and then I'd craft this whole arc by myself, and then I'd get into the
Mhm.
room, and of course my partner is doing their own thing. They have no idea what my secret little plan is. And so it totally backfires, and it also
Yeah.
like kept me super in my head and really focused on myself rather than what was being offered to
Yeah.
me. And I think
Yeah.
one of my favorite parts about being an actor is like how collaborative it is, especially
Yeah.
in theater. I find it's always very like everyone is bringing something super special to the table, and we're all meeting in the
Yeah.
middle and creating something together.
Yeah.
So why
Yeah.
would I do everyone
No.
else's jobs for them in my head? That is so silly.
Exactly. Yeah. Unless you just text them and you're like, so this is your role. This is what you're
Yeah.
gonna do.
Yeah,
Then you become
exactly.
the director, but you can still do it.
Yeah.
Awesome. No, I love that. I love the aspect that you brought in. That's like it's a team effort. It's not just me. It's everyone else who's involved in the production too, and their thoughts and emotions. And that's like my favorite thing about just talking to people in the creative field, because I'm like, everyone assumes, from the outside looking in, it's a me thing. I'm the one that's acting and that's it. But it really is very collaborative, which I love. So yeah, I love that. It's so good. See, I knew it. I knew. I was like, I feel like this is gonna be like a lovely TED talk, and I'm here for it.
Oh, that's so sweet.
So we're gonna transition into our next section, and this is actually like become one of my favorite ones, just to see how people's minds just start, wait, what just happened, type of thing. And
Okay.
it is actually going to be diving into Ginny and Georgia a little bit. But before we do that, we're gonna play a fun game. We played this game with everyone we've had on from Ginny and Georgia, and the game is Who Said It. So I'll be giving you a line, and then you will just have to tell me who it is, and bonus points if you get the scene, if you can remember the
Oh
scene. So,
no, I'm so nervous. Okay.
no,
I'm
you got
ready.
this. Awesome. So the first line is, I quit being a mom. The hours are long and the pay sucks.
Oh, that's Jen. Ellen.
Yes. Wow. Okay. Look at you. See, there we go.
Off to a good start.
Off to a good start. Exactly. All right. The next line is, fall in a ditch.
Is that Sarah?
Yes, it is. I love that. I always laugh because we're always like, yeah, tell us the character. They're like, Sarah, Jen, Bree. I'm like, sure, that works too for us.
Oh, character names, character names. Okay.
Character names or people names, both are, we know both of them, so we're good.
I will say my first day on set,
Yeah.
everyone was introducing themselves to me, and they were like, "Hi, I'm Sarah. I play Max." And I was like, "Oh my God, I'm never gonna. I'm gonna like mess up everyone's name. It's gonna be such a disaster." And then of course it never happened, but I was so nervous.
I mean, any social event, you're always like, I'm not gonna remember your name until someone says it a couple of times.
Yeah, especially when people are introducing themselves with double
Yeah.
names.
That's true.
It gets
That's true. Yeah,
confusing.
that's definitely. I totally get that. I get that. So the next line is, "We're like the penguins. We can't fly, but we can learn to swim."
Oh, I remember this scene. Is it Nate? No.
No.
No, it's Nikki
Yes.
in the flashback. Oh, such a cute scene. It's so sweet.
Oh my! All the young Georgia scenes make me want to cry every time because I'm like, oh, it's just so emotional, and you're like, I just want to
Yeah.
hug you and keep you bubble wrapped and away from this world.
But also like
Oh,
the all of the Georgia Zion scenes, I like they're all so beautifully written. I
yeah.
mean, the whole show is so well written, but those ones especially, the arc is so consistent to the flashbacks from the flashbacks to the current scenes that I
Yeah.
can never know which one is in the past and which one is in the future because everyone is like so on the same page.
Yeah, no, it's very like it flows very well throughout all the
Mhm.
episodes, which I love. Like it's been good. I need to rewatch it actually. I've been meaning to, but maybe this week. We'll see. We'll see. So the next line is, "No pants, no dare."
Oh, oh, that one's at sophomore sleepover, right? Uh,
Yeah.
it's not Colton, is it? No.
I think it actually I don't know the guys' names.
Oh, Jordan, but it's
Yes.
not him. Oh, it
Yes.
is
It
him.
is Jordan. Yes, it is Jordan.
Yay! Oh, this is fun.
I think I think you might actually be the first person who got this one. I want to say because most people say Tyson, and I'm like,
Mm,
oh, Mel usually takes this one. But...
yeah.
All right, the next one is, "She asked me for weed. She wasn't that friendly."
Oh, that's Felix.
Yes. Wow, you're killing this game today. Look at you
I
go.
am so happy. I was nervous when you were explaining the rules. I was like, I think I've only seen the show once. I don't know if I'll be able to do this.
No, you're doing good so far. So you're good so far. The next line is, "Cool people don't say they're cool."
Is that Ginny?
It is Ginny.
Oh
Okay.
wow. I'm
Wow.
guessing most of these. I'm just going with my gut,
Well, going,
not my
when in
memory.
doubt, pick C, right? When in doubt, pick C. I'm here
Exactly,
for this.
exactly.
The next line is, "Your mom sort of scares me."
Is that Abby? Oh no. When in doubt, pick C, and it failed me. Um,
Who are your other options?
my other options, I don't think it would be Nora. Is it Mason?
It is Mason, yes.
Just oscillating wildly between actor names and character names. It's all the same.
All the same, it all works. It all works. I think you'll get this next one. It's, "That's such a bummer. There are no good gays here."
Oh, that's Max.
Yeah. There's a couple pretty easy ones in here, just to make
Mhm.
to make it easier for everyone. So
Keep you confident.
exactly, exactly. All right. The next one is, "Through the lens is how the world makes sense to me."
It's Zion, right?
That is Zion. Yes. You're honestly really good. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you.
Yay! Oh, I'm proud of me. I'm proud of us.
There we go. There we go. So just a couple more. The next one is, "You're amazing. You're the best, and I'm just over it."
Oh, I remember this scene. It's Abby, isn't it?
It is Abby.
Oh,
Yes.
she said that line so well.
Yeah, Katie did fantastic with this line. All her lines
Mhm.
are, I'm just like in awe of everyone. So I'm happy
It's true.
you guys, yeah. Yeah. The next line is, "Unless your name is Jesus, I don't think your birthday counts as a holiday."
Is it is that Bree? No. Is it Ginny?
It is Ginny. Yes. All right. The next one I think is also another easy one. It's
Okay.
Happy Friday.
Oh, gee, I don't know. That's Hunter, the most
That is
famous
Hunter.
line of the show, I think.
I think so too. I think that one is the one a lot of people, it resonated with everyone, you know.
Yeah.
All right. The next one is I will not be doing that.
That's Nora in the slap
Yes.
scene.
Yes.
I think that's one of my favorite moments in the whole show.
I just laugh because it just slaps. I'm not. No,
Yeah.
thank you. She's like cutting myself out of here. All right, two more. Indifference is the best revenge.
I feel like that's either Ginny or Georgia, but I'm not sure which one. I'm gonna go with Ginny.
Yeah.
Ah, yay!
Wow. All right. And the last one, this one's Mel's favorite line in the entire show. And it's just, ah,
Ah?
ah.
Oh no. My instinct is to say that it's Katie because she would just make a lot of random sounds as she was saying her lines, which I love, but I feel like that's wrong. And so I'm going to ignore my instinct. I'm just giving you my mental process now.
I'm here for this. I'm here for this mental process.
Is it Felix?
It is Felix.
Ah!
Wow. So you have done the best on this game so far. I hope you know that.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. That's gonna go straight to my head.
You could just, get a plaque. We'll give you a plaque that just says, won the Who Said It game at the end of it. Because you only got one wrong, so good for you.
I'm here to win.
Yeah, there you go. It's the competitive nature,
It really is. Oh, that's great.
Awesome. See, I was like, I should have maybe told her to, rewatch the show before we do our interview, but clearly you didn't need to do a rewatch.
Just spend 10 hours straight just watching it.
Just 10, yeah, just binge it, right? What else are we doing?
Nothing.
Right? Well, I mean, now we can go to the movies, so I don't know if I'd want to sit at home if we could just go to the movies, but we'll see.
That's true.
Right. So, if anyone hasn't noticed by now, you were on Netflix's Ginny and Georgia and you played Samantha. So before we kind of dive into Ginny and Georgia a little bit, I wanted to ask, how did you get your role and what was the audition process like for that role?
Well, I auditioned over the summer while I was not in school, and I had this backpacking trip planned with two of my friends. And I called my agent and I was like, listen, if you find me something short and sweet for the summer, that would be sweet. But also, I'm going back to school in the fall, so let's take it easy. Because I went to this very rigorous, intense theater program that they didn't like you missing school. Yeah. So she sent me the breakdown and the audition, and she was like, this could be fun. Give it a shot if you want. And I was like, sure. I have no problem with that. So I go in for the audition and I run into so many of my friends in the waiting room. And I was like, this is so great. And as I was preparing, I was like, I don't think I could get this role. I don't know what to do. So I'm just going to go in and have fun and see what happens. And so usually you're sitting in the waiting room and everyone's very serene and peaceful.
Yep.
And I was just like, oh my God, hey, how are you? I haven't seen you in so long, chatting with all my friends. And they were like, oh, okay.
This is the vibe, I like it.
And then they called me in, and I went in, and I I did the audition and I just had so much fun. And they were like, "That's great.
Mhm.
Could you do it one more time?" As if you are the most important person in the room and you really don't care about what anyone has to say. And I was like,
Mhm.
could I do it one more time as if I'm the most important person in the room? Absolutely. So I did
Absolutely.
it a second time and they were like, "Great, thanks. See ya." And then a few days later, I was like, "Okay, off to France I go on this little trip with my friends." And I land in France and we're unpacking our things. And my agent calls me and she's like, "Hey, how's it going? Where are you?" And I was like, "Paris?" And she was like, "Oh, did I know that?" And I was like, "Maybe. I think I forgot to tell you." And she was like, "Okay, well, you got offered this job. Here's when it's happening. Feel free to come back and do that."
Come
And
back
luckily
home.
it all lined up with when I was planning
Okay.
on being home anyway. But there
Okay.
were
Okay.
a few days that I like had to get special permission to miss school, and my school was in
Yeah.
Montreal, so I would do a day of school, get on the 9 p.m. bus to Toronto and
To
get
make
here
it
at
back
like 3 in
here.
the
Yeah.
morning and then
Oh.
go to work all day and then take the night bus back to Montreal for class the next day. So it was a very
Oh
dramatic
my goodness.
experience, but it was a lot of fun. I wouldn't have had it
Yeah.
any other way.
I mean, maybe not I mean, though you could sleep on the 9 p.m. bus to Toronto, so not too
Yeah,
bad of a trip back.
it's true. It also made for like a really funny story because I'd get to set at like
Yes.
5 in the morning and they'd be
Yeah.
like, "Hey, how are you? How's your night?" And I'd be like, "Yeah, I just got into Toronto like 2 hours ago. Feeling great, feeling good, so
Feeling
happy to be
great.
here."
Yeah. Took a
Yeah.
nap, might need a nap later or some
Yeah,
coffee, whichever one comes first.
all of it, both.
Both, exactly, exactly. No, I love
Mhm.
that. And I mean, like, we'll talk about France and stuff, and I'm glad that you still got to enjoy your trip because I mean, backpacking is like I think everyone's goal in life is to just backpack through Europe. So we'll
Yeah,
definitely
it
dive
was
into
so
that.
fun.
So, you have watched the show and you've been in the show. So what would you say is kind of like your favorite episode or like scene that
Mm.
resonates with you even after you have been watched it and it's been a couple of months since it's been out?
Mhm. Oh, um, I think my favorite episode, I don't know if this is a real answer, but I loved watching the first episode because I had no idea
Hmm.
what to expect. And then
Yeah.
anytime anyone did anything, I was like, "Oh my God, look how great this person is. They're wonderful. This is so
Yeah.
exciting."
Yeah.
Um, but my favorite scene, any of the Padma scenes. I love
Yeah.
Becky. She's
Yeah.
phenomenal.
Mhm.
And the Halloween party.
Mhm.
I loved shooting that scene. It was so
Yeah,
fun.
we've heard stories about the Halloween party and the amount of retakes it needed to be done for specific scenes and shots and stuff. Like,
Mhm.
nice. Yeah, I love that because it just feels like just friends hanging out at the end of the day, right? So
And
love
we
how
shot
long you shoot for.
so late into the night that day.
Yeah.
It was also Suds who was directing that episode. It was his last day on the show, and so he brought a beaver tail
Okay.
truck. And so at like 1 in the
Oh
morning, we were
no.
all sitting there eating beaver tails. It was so great, and we were all like in Halloween costumes in
Oh.
early September or something like that. It was wonderful.
So what's your go-to beaver tail order?
Mm. I'd say the classic cinnamon sugar
Okay. Okay, the cinnamon sugar
situation.
one. Oh,
Mhm.
nice, nice. I love that one. Or the Nutella one. Depends. Am I in chocolate mood or am I in just a beaver tail mood, right?
It's
So
true.
I laugh because every time I mention beaver tails to anyone, they're like, who's not Canadian, they'll be like you guys eat like the tails of beaver? I'm like, no.
Yes, we do.
It's just yeah. Actually, I should just say that now. I'll be like, yeah, we ride moose and live in igloos and eat
Mhm.
the tails of beavers because why not?
Absolutely.
So what would you say is like your favorite memory from set? You've already mentioned, people would
Mm.
introduce themselves with their two names, and you'd be like, I'm not gonna remember any of this. But from filming and just being on set, what was kind of like a favorite memory or a funny story that you can share?
Um, well, my last day was I was very sick. I had like this
Mhm.
cold sinus situation, and I
Mhm.
came in sounding like someone who'd been smoking a pack a day for 80 years. I have
Oh
no
no.
idea what happened. We were filming the scene in the cafe where
Mhm.
I come in and order a very extensive latte, um, and then uh, Ginny asks if something's going on, and I'm like, "Oh, are you sad? I'm so sorry. That must suck for you." And and so I got there and I was like, listen, guys, I don't know what's going on with my voice. It's crazy. And the hair and makeup ladies were like, do not worry. We got you. And they just like kept giving me water and vitamin C pills. And then I
Okay.
felt much better and I sounded less crazy. But then we wrapped at like 1:30 in the morning probably. And
Wow.
Tony and Mason and I were like, well, should we just go to a karaoke bar until it closes and
No,
spend
because
the
they
rest of
close
the
at
night
like 3 in the
there?
morning.
Exactly. So we went to this karaoke bar, got a room. My phone was dying, and the only outlet was on the ceiling. So Mason was like,
Yep.
"It's fine, it's fine, it's fine. I'll lift you, and you can plug your phone into the outlet on the ceiling and balance it on the
Yep.
door frame. It'll be great." And then we stayed out until very late. And then I went to the airport and hopped on a plane to Montreal because it was too late to take the bus. And then I got back to Montreal at like, because the plane was took off at 6, so I got to
Yeah.
Montreal at 7 and then went to
Mhm.
school for my 8:30 a.m. class. The next
Oh
day it was so hectic, but I loved it.
no. Oh, I love that's but see, these are stories you wouldn't have otherwise, right? So it's like,
Exactly,
I'll
yeah.
take the stories. I'll take the stories. Yeah, it's funny because we used to go to karaoke bars, obviously, 2019 when we could, and I'd be
Mhm.
like, I need to charge my phone. It's up here. So guess we're not charging the phone today. Or, do we really trust these people to give them my phone for like an hour? I don't know. We'll see. So it's just funny. I think all of the ones in Ontario, just the plugs in the wall or right on top of the door frame or like in the weirdest place you could even think of, and you're like,
Yep. Get
no
your
phone.
friend
I'll
to
just be
lift
here.
you, boost you up to the ceiling. You won't
There we
regret
go.
it.
That I gotta get that for next time. Next time.
Absolutely.
So we know that Ginny and Georgia got renewed for a second season. So is there
Mhm.
anything, that you would want to see, whether, as a viewer or someone who knows kind of a little bit more of the story that
Mm.
might not have made it to the final cut? Um, you know, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah.
Well, I'm really curious to see what happens with Georgia. Who
Hmm.
is she going to give Joe a chance? I hope so. I'm Team
Hmm.
Joe.
Hmm.
Um, I have
You're just
no
Team J
idea.
name apparently, though.
I
Jesse, Jess,
guess
and Joe.
so.
Like, okay,
Yeah, that's my new brand. I'm taking that and
Team J
running.
name.
Um, yeah, I really want to know what happens. But that's
Hmm.
just because I have that secret agenda. Um,
Yes.
obviously, I want to know what's going on with May.
Yeah.
Who knows? I hope they make up because
Hmm.
it's not good to fight with your friends over boys.
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely not worth it.
Mm-mm.
Not worth it. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. No, I love that. And I think we'll get a lot in season 2 that we didn't even know we wanted, and we'd be like, the answers we weren't looking for, but we got. Love that.
Oh my God, I know. Sarah and all of the writers and Deb and everyone who made that show, their brains are crazy. How do they come up with these things? I have no idea, but I'm so here for it.
Yeah, there was a moment when I watched the show and I was like, what is happening? What episode did I miss? Did I miss something? I don't know.
There's
But
so
no,
much going on.
oh my goodness, it's crazy. It's crazy, but it's a
Mm-hmm.
good show, so we can't complain about that either. So
True. No complaints from me.
exactly. So,
Yeah.
we know that Ginny and Georgia did get a lot of audience reception, especially when it first
Mm-hmm.
came out. It was number one on Netflix for weeks and weeks on end. Did you expect this type of reaction and reception, or were you kind of just like, what is happening? What do I do?
No, it was crazy. We have a little group chat, and every day people would send updates, and we'd all be like, "What is going on? This is amazing." Obviously, I can only speak for myself, but um, this was like the first big real production I'd ever been a part of, and just I couldn't have imagined that people would love it as much as they do. But it was really beautiful to see how well received it was, because everyone put so much of themselves into it, and so much hard work went into making the show. And it wasn't like a huge budget production by any means. Like, it was very scrappy, in the best way possible.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it was crazy. They really like enforced the idea for me that like you can do anything that you set your mind to. Sarah had never created a show before. Like a lot of people were, and a lot of the team is very young. So it was a new experience for a lot of people. It certainly was for me, and so it was really, really wonderful to see just how well it did. I'm so proud of everyone.
Yeah, no, and I mean, I've been joking this entire time. I'm like, a show is filmed in Toronto when, and it's because,
Yeah.
the people on it I've seen before on other shows that are also filmed in Toronto, but I'm like, I know these places. I could probably walk down the street and find them because they're not like it's also the home aspect, right? And I think that's what makes it a little bit nicer because you don't really feel like you're out of comfort zone and out of comfort level. You're very much just in family kind of mode, right? Which you can see on and off the screen, right? So I think that's really cool about this show.
That's such a sweet way of putting that. I totally agree.
Yeah. I got you. Just So we're gonna get into a little bit of the deeper side of the podcast episode, and this is when I'd love to just like let you just speak on different things that I don't think get talked about too often, especially with the way that social media and just life works right now. So, before we dig into everything, I want to ask, like, do you experience performance anxiety? And especially because, you're a theater kid, so definitely with plays, I think it's a lot more intense than being able to say, sorry, can we re-record? I messed up one or stumbled on a line. And if yes, how do you kind of deal with that fear of like messing up or stumbling or forgetting a line or something like that?
I used to be very nervous, never during the performances, but in rehearsals I would get a little nervous. And then I had a teacher tell me once that she said it very harshly, and I don't think, I think the sentiment is great, but the message could have been delivered in a more empathetic way. But she told me that if I was going to be wrapped up in myself and embarrassed, that I shouldn't be an actor. And then I was like, well, that is kind of aggressive. But then I thought about it, and I was like, you know what? she's right, because I'm not serving the story. Nobody cares about
Mhm.
me. People are gonna,
Mhm.
I mean, not nobody cares about me, but like I'm not doing a good job if I'm just in my head and focused on what other
Yeah.
people think of me.
Yeah.
And so it was a long process, but I learned to let that go. And
Mhm.
I don't I don't really get too worried about that stuff anymore, just because
Yeah.
I love my job. I love being an
Yeah.
actor so much, and it's such a pleasure, like going to work
Yeah.
and just playing with really
Yeah.
cool people all day.
Mhm.
And so I don't know. I think, humans make mistakes. Nobody's perfect. I can't
Mhm.
expect myself to be perfect. I can't hold myself to a different standard than I do
Yeah.
anybody else. And so
Mhm.
I just go in and try to have fun. And then if something goes wrong, then, I mean, sometimes not ideal, but there's
Yeah.
always something to learn.
Yeah. No, and I think that's important, right? Especially in that creative field. I find it as a photographer, I'm like, okay, I might mess up one time, but then you learn
Mhm.
from it and you're like, okay, how do I not do that thing again? Or how do I make sure
Yeah.
I avoid that thing again? So I think all the creative
Yeah.
fields tend to be, you messed up, okay, fine. Let's just move past it and see what can we learn that we can then apply later on, right? Rather than just stick
Yeah.
to that type of thing.
Yeah, I remember, this is kind of a dramatic example, but there was a project that I was working on recently that one of the actors had to like throw a glass of juice at someone,
Oh.
and a lot of the juice got on the camera, and
Oh.
the director kind of freaked out, and it was crazy. And then in the end we were watching it all back, and it looked really, really cool, and it made it
Yeah.
into the final cut. But
Okay.
I think mistakes are beautiful. There's always
Yeah.
a silver lining.
Yeah, no, that's so true. That's so true.
Yeah.
And going off of that, I think another thing that comes with this field is there's a lot of rejection, not just like
Mhm.
in acting, but also any creative field where you have to kind of put yourself out there. I feel like there's a lot of rejection, there's a lot of no's.
Mhm.
And not everyone deals with it the same way. Obviously, everyone deals with it in their own way. So what kind of is your way of dealing with rejection and getting past that no that does tend to come?
Yeah, that's a great question. And honestly, that is something that I'm working on. I think something that's been a real learning curve for me is that for
Mhm.
actors, you don't usually get a no, you just get radio silence. Um, so like how it works is you go out and you do your audition, and then if they like you, they'll uh, bring you back for a callback, or I don't know, sometimes they skip that part and they'll cast
Yeah.
you. But if
Mhm.
not, then you won't hear anything from them. And then after a certain
Mhm.
amount of time, you can guess that it's a no.
Yeah.
But what I've been trying to do is I used to get an audition, and if I felt good about it, I'd start like planning my entire life around like, oh, if I get this job, then I won't be able to do this thing in October because it's shooting in October,
Yeah.
um, which is very silly and makes the disappointment so much worse. But
Yeah.
I've been learning to like get an audition, put my all into it, do my best, and
Mhm.
then let it go and wait, and
Mhm.
or not wait, let it go and move on with my life.
Yeah.
And then if they if the stars align and it works out, then that's great. But if they don't, then I
Mhm.
know that I did what I could. And it really isn't ever about you or the work that you've done. There are so many factors that
Yeah.
go into the
Mhm.
casting process that
Mhm. Mhm.
you really just go in with your best foot forward, and then it's out of
Yeah.
your hands.
Yeah. Exactly. And even if it is ends up being a no, the director or the cast person who chooses who a casting
Mm-hmm.
director or director or producer, whoever was at
Yeah,
the audition now knows who you are. And it's like maybe you might not have
exactly.
fit for this project, but maybe there's another project that can come up and you're like, hey, maybe this, and then they already know you, so it's not like it's like a who is this again? It's they kind of have an understanding on who you are because they would have seen you before, which is kind of cool, I think, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Networking, love networking.
Oh, me too. I love talking to new people.
Exactly. Hence why we're doing this. Look at this.
Yeah.
So the entertainment industry is a little brutal in the sense of it's very competitive and
Mhm.
it's a lot of like, elbows up, I gotta make my way in my own lane type of thing. So there's a lot of comparison and there's a lot of looking at, this actress is doing this at this age and I'm here older than her and I'm not doing anything. How do you kind of deal with that struggle that comes with comparing yourself to other
Mhm.
people, with life in general, not just career wise?
Yeah, these are big questions. Oh God.
Yeah.
Well, it's been interesting because a lot of my closest friends are actors.
Okay.
And so balancing like envy with being proud and happy for your
Mhm.
friends is always
Mhm.
an interesting thing to
Yeah.
reckon with, I guess. But
Mhm. Mhm.
I think more and more I'm learning to something that's been important to me has been focusing on myself rather than the people
Yeah.
around me. And
Yeah.
when my friends get cool opportunities, I'm happy for them, and it's really wonderful to see the
Mm.
people you love thriving in.
Yeah.
I don't know, I think competitiveness is a given in such a
Mhm. Mhm.
crazy hustly industry. That's not a word, but
Mhm.
um
I'll take it.
but
I'll take that word.
but once you take the competition out of it and
Yeah.
really look within and it, if I feel like I did the best work that I could possibly do, then I'm
Yeah.
happy. It's on the days that
Mhm.
I know that I could have worked harder or that I could have put more effort in
Mhm.
that I end up getting a little down on myself. But
Mhm.
if if I really did put my best foot forward, um, I don't really feel the need to
Yeah.
compare myself to
Yeah.
other people.
Yeah. No, and
Yeah,
I love that.
but
And I think that's the thing, right? It's a personal field as well as it is very network filled, right?
mhm.
Because it is you and your career. It's not what this person's doing or what that person's doing. It's just
Yeah,
society tells you
exactly.
otherwise. So it's like, okay, society, take a chill pill, things.
Yeah, exactly.
So my last question in this heavy kind of topic before we get to some like fun ones, which are some of my favorite, is what advice would you give someone who wants to get into this field, whether it's theater or just acting or any entertainment kind of industry job itself?
Ooh, what advice? What advice would I have wanted when I was starting out?
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of pressure for new actors to take a bunch of classes and do a bunch of workshops and
Mhm.
like check a lot of boxes that I think might
Yeah.
be unnecessary for some people,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
find what you love about it and start there. And then
Yeah.
yeah, I don't think it needs to be a job right away. And even,
Mhm. Mhm.
there are some parts of the job that aren't super fun. Um,
Yeah.
but like you're allowed to luxuriate in the parts that you
Yeah.
enjoy because
Yeah.
why would you do it otherwise?
That's true. That's true. Yeah, and I mean, it is a saying, right? If you love what you do, it's not really a job because
Mhm.
you want to wake up to go to set or you want to wake up to film that self tape or go to that
Yeah,
audition because
exactly.
you
I
love
don't
it,
like
right?
waking
So,
up at 4 in the morning to like go do a fitting before the sun rises before a day of
yeah.
shooting, but I will
Yeah,
because I love my job and that's a part of
exactly.
it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it adds to the adventure of it all.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're gonna switch gears to like some really, really fun questions, and I think this is when we really get to know who you are, because of the types of questions. So the first one I'm gonna ask is, what is the craziest food combination that you have ever had? And I'm talking like CNE or travel wise. Like, what is
Oh,
it?
crazy food combination. Mm. Well, I've been vegan for like a couple of years now, and
Okay.
some of the things that they use to substitute like cheese, pretty wacky. It's pretty out there. I don't even know what so many of the things that I consume are.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. Honestly, I will eat most things that fall within the vegan category.
Yeah.
Um, but I can't think of one thing off the top of my head.
Okay. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, someone once told us bugs at CNE, deep fried bugs.
Deep
And I was
fried
like,
bugs. That's crazy. I love
yep.
that.
And I'm like, well, when the CNE is back up and running, maybe next year. I don't think they're doing it this year, but then you can have
No,
some
I
deep
don't think
fried
so.
bugs. And
That
then you
kind
can
of
tell me what
scares
you think.
me. The deep fried bugs. I'll bring a friend and make them do it, and I'll report
Yeah,
back.
exactly. Perfect. That's all we
Yeah.
need. That's all we need. You're definitely a traveler. You did get to, you were talking about how you were in France when you got the role of Sam.
Mhm.
So what's like your favorite place that you've ever traveled to, and tell us a little bit about that, because
Mm.
I'm gonna live vicariously through you now. That's what's gonna happen.
Amazing. Um, when I was 13,
Mhm.
yes, I did like this exchange program thing
Okay.
um with a girl from Indonesia. Her name was Paramita, and I love her so much. She's so cute. She's the sweetest person I've ever met in my entire life. And we
Okay.
spent 3 weeks living with her family, and then she came here
Mhm.
and spent 3 weeks with my family.
Mhm.
And we went on a little family trip to Bali when I was there, and it was
Okay.
the most wonderful time of my life. I bought so many pairs of like really cool pants. Or I didn't buy that many pairs, but I was like really into the like really comfy genie pants. And now every
Yeah.
year on
Yeah.
my birthday and on Christmas, I mean I don't celebrate Christmas, but they do. Um,
Yeah.
uh, no, I'm a Jew. That would be weird. But they send me a little packet with a pair of the pants because they were like,
Oh,
"You were so excited about these pants. We hope you're well." And then I send them
that's so
maple
cute.
syrup paraphernalia. But some very fond memories from that
Oh,
adventure for
I love
sure.
that. That's so cute. I love that. I love that you guys are still talking too. That's so cool.
We text all the time. She's really sweet.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. All right, the next question,
Yeah.
which I think will derail us a little bit,
Okay.
is a coffee question. So I
I'm
want to know,
ready.
where is your favorite spot to go to for coffee? And what is
Mm,
your go-to coffee order? Spring, like summer and
okay.
winter, because we all have our, winter's a bit different in terms of the
Mhm.
orders that we get. So,
It's true. It's true.
yeah.
Oh, my favorite spot to get coffee. Well, I was a barista for many, many years. I worked in many coffee
Okay.
shops across Toronto, and I
Okay.
found that sometimes when I go back to my old work, they're like, "Oh my God, Romy, hi! Here, have some coffee." Um, so free coffee is the best kind of
Always
coffee,
a
in my
good thing.
opinion.
Always a good thing. Yeah.
Um, that's kind of a cop out of an answer. Um, Uh, I really like the Good Neighbor. It's a little coffee
Okay.
shop in Toronto. They've got a couple of locations.
Okay.
And, you know, drip coffee, always a win.
Mhm.
But I do love me a good latte. or a
Mhm.
cappuccino. Those
Yes.
are really
Yes.
fun. I found
Yeah.
that I order a lot of coffee in the winter because my hands get really cold, and so
Oh, so
I
you have something to hold.
will hold it and
Yeah.
walk around just holding a cup of
Just
coffee.
holding it like right here, so that your
Yeah,
face
and
gets warm too.
it's not like I could just invest in a pair of gloves, but that would probably
Coffee.
be a better option in the long run. But yeah. I also,
Yeah.
for some reason, drink warm coffee in the summer as well.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
do like iced coffee. I don't know why, but I my instinct is always to order.
Yeah, a
Yeah.
latte or a cappuccino or something. Yeah, no, fair. I'm the same way
Yeah.
depending on where I go. So like Starbucks, I'm always
Mhm.
like give me cold drinks there because it's just
Mm.
easier. But then like coffee, like those cute little coffee shops on like Lakeshore and stuff. I'm like, give me a hot coffee, whatever. I like
Yeah.
sweet. Give me something sweet, but your choice type of thing.
Recently I've just been drinking a lot of just like straight up black coffee. I don't know why. I
I
don't know
can't do
what has
it.
become of me, but maybe I'm like living out some like bohemian artistic New York
Yeah,
fantasy, and this is
yeah.
my way of doing it, but
There
I've
you
been
go.
enjoying it. It's been great.
I've cut down on the sugar in my coffee, but I haven't been able to cut down the
Mm.
cream. But like at least it's cream and not milk. Like I think that's
Mhm.
a step at least.
Yeah. Okay. I support this for you.
Thank
I
you.
think
Thank you.
coffee is for pleasure. So
Oh,
add all that
100%.
sugar.
Oh, 100%. All right, so just a couple more questions for you.
Mhm.
We have like a lovely playlist that we keep adding like all of our guests' favorite songs when they do the
Mm.
interviews because songs change, favorite songs change every couple of days sometimes. So,
Mhm.
what are your top two favorite songs right now?
Oh, okay. I'm the kind of person that I'll like listen to the same song over and over and over again
Okay.
until I get bored of
Yeah.
it.
Which could
And the
be like a month later or something. Yeah.
mhm, it's true. And like usually that happens really quickly. Not really quickly, but just like
Okay.
but it'll be like a couple of days and I'll just listen to the same thing so many times that I'm like, okay, this is enough. Next, please. But the two
Yeah.
songs that I never get bored of are The
Mm-hmm.
Feeling by Sammy Ray and the Friends.
Okay.
She's
Yeah.
they're all so wonderful and it's
Oh,
just
yeah.
such a party of a song. And then the
Mm-hmm.
other one, my friend Bronte Hunter just released this beautiful single called The Time Is Now, and
Okay.
she sounds so good and it's such a beautiful song and it's so poetic and just makes
Yeah.
me so sad in the best way. Um, and she's
I have to
releasing an
listen to that
album
one.
soon, so you should give it a listen. She's
Okay. All right. I
fantastic.
will give her, yeah, definitely give it a listen, of course. I love supporting, like, especially like Canadian artists because I'm like, we're cool people, so I gotta
Yeah.
support your hometown.
Yeah, she's from like a tiny, tiny town near Stratford, Ontario. She's great.
Okay.
I love that woman.
Oh, I love that. So what would you say is an artist that you can listen to on repeat and never get tired of?
Hmm. Probably Sammy Ray and the Friends. So many,
Okay.
so
Yeah.
many bops. It's a great time. Just
Yeah.
yeah, so many
Yeah,
like
I know. I love
crazy
that.
riffs and lots of saxophones.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, I know. I love that. I love that answer. I'm here for this answer. I love it. All right, this question might be a little bit hard to answer, but it is one of our favorites to ask. And it is
Okay.
if you would pick a song that plays every time you walk into a room, what would that song be? So your walkout song type of
Oh,
thing.
like for everyone or just for me? I hear the song.
No, everyone hears it. Like it's like the
Everyone
song that gets
hears it.
blasted through the speakers. Yeah.
For some reason, I would hate this if it was true in real life, but my first instinct was Circus by Britney Spears. That's not true. I would hate it if every time I walked into a room
Oh no.
that started playing, but that's the answer I'm sticking with.
That's the answer. I think that would be a fun walkout song in my opinion. Everyone
I
would
think
turn around
so.
and be like, "Who is coming in?"
Yeah. Or like
Yeah.
TikTok by Kesha. I'm thinking like, what are songs that would grab an entire room?
Everyone's attention. Yep. Yep.
Mhm.
Yep. No, I think those are two solid answers. I'm here for those answers.
I also think Sarah Lampert would really support my Britney answer.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. So, if you could switch bodies with someone for an entire day and you get like their thoughts, their emotions, everything, dead
Oh,
or alive, who would it be?
dead or alive? Oh, Meryl Streep. I want to know
Ah,
how that woman lives. She is doing something right. Or
yeah, yep,
or Helena Bonham Carter, because I would
okay.
like to see what's going on in her closet, and I want to know if she's
Yes,
actually as out there as she
yeah.
seems to be, because those two icons,
They're iconic. Yeah, they're iconic. Iconic.
brilliant women. Yeah.
Yeah. And the last question we have for you that we love to end our interview off with is what is the most useless talent that you have?
Oh my God, that's a great question. I have so many useless talents, or just like so many useless things that I've spent my days
Yeah.
doing. Hmm. Oh God, what can I do? Um, I mean, it was useful at a time, but I can carry
Okay.
many plates at once because I was a server for a very long time. Not really useful anymore.
Yeah.
No,
Unless you're having like a really big dinner party or something and you're clearing the table.
that's
You know?
true. But like, I would hope
Yeah.
that if I was hosting a really big dinner party, I would be like good enough friends with the people who were coming that they would help me
And they
carry
just
things.
carry their own plates.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? It's like 25 people sitting at a table and you're like, no one's moving. I guess I'm taking all the plates.
Yeah.
Well, Romy, thank you so much for coming on and chatting. I legitimately feel like I just like talked to my friend. I'm like catch up
Oh,
with friends.
me
You
too.
are
This was
so
so
sweet.
fun.
Love it. Love you. And
Thank
supporting
you.
you in everything that you do.
Oh,
Um,
thanks.
yeah.